Hello and welcome to another episode from the Real Talk and Revenue podcast. We have myself, Francesca, the accountant, and we have Jordan, the therapist, and we bring real powerful conversations around building revenue, building confidence, how the mindset works, all different discussions around to help others in business and in their personal life. So listen in, let us know what you think, ask questions along the way, and we'll be sure to answer them. Enjoy. Thank you for my coffee. I'm trialling oat milk.
Yeah. What's going on? Sorry, I'm just...
So what I've noticed...
You know when you sit in this and it's like...
Aren't you boiling?
Not yet, but I probably will be, so it'll be
Jordan's
coming
brought
off.
her sheep with her.
Yeah, I like it though.
Yeah, it's cosy.
It is.
Oh, so I didn't used to drink a lot of milk.
Yeah.
This is going back years ago. Obviously, I was really careful. I tried soy milk, I've tried oat milk, loved oat milk.
Yeah.
Then someone said, oh, it's got loads of shit in it. So I was like, oh God, what hasn't?
Yeah.
So I went back to dairy. I used to do skinny coffees and I thought, no, I'm just going to go full fat.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed, my skin's a lot itchier.
Oh, really?
I've picked up on that, yes. And normally, I always say to myself, by this time of the year, that's when my skin stops getting so dry.
Yeah.
And it hasn't.
Right.
My nails, I can tell my nails have changed.
Do you not think it is the winter months though that impacts
I
us?
don't remember it being like this for a
Really?
long time. And I've had full fat milk now, I'd say 6 months.
Oh,
So that's my only
That's
change.
gonna change. Right.
But I'm having more full fat milk because we've got the coffee machine
Yeah.
since Christmas.
Yeah.
So you put more milk in them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is. And my stomach every morning is not great. But I've been on the oat milk now a week and a half.
Yeah.
I've not noticed massive changes yet. Maybe slightly.
There's so many other things it could be as well, isn't there?
Stress.
But like, that's what I was going to say, stress and anxiety, that causes IBS-like symptoms, really common. Yeah, and like we say, like the weather, it has such an impact. Like my skin gets terrible at this time of year. It gets terrible around my cycle anyway, but yeah, this time of year, like it just breaks out more. And then comes summer, like spring and summer, it's just so much nicer. Your skin's not as dried out, is it? Or
I know, but then you don't, like when it's dry and you come into summer and you feel pale,
I know.
bloated and just shoddy. I am feeling like the weather, and I don't know if anyone else is like this, it's dragging. 5 degrees every day. Come on, 4 or 5 degrees.
It's
and
the
naught
greyness as well. Like,
grey.
what a British thing, like, moan about the weather. But it's the grey. It's when you open the curtains and you're like, oh, come on. Like, where's the sun? Like, it's so nice. I don't mind cold as such, but when the sun's out and the sky's blue and you're like, oh, lovely.
It is. It's fresh.
Yeah.
You can deal with cold.
Yeah, nice morning, like, fresh walk in the sun. But no, grey,
drizzly, miserable.
Eating all the comfort food.
So me and Steve last night, I don't know if anyone else does this, try and be good. Well, try and be good. I hate that, be good. But he's like, I said, I'm hungry. Should I get the Pringles? Stupidly, I bought Pringles. Barbecue Pringles are the best.
Yeah. Oh, I like sour cream.
Oh, do you?
Oh, my favourite, yeah.
I could eat them, obviously. Of course I can. But no, the barbecue with it's just like, yes.
Do you like barbecue, to be fair?
So we got them, and I said, let's just have a few. And then 5 minutes later, they're all gone.
I know, because you're like, ooh.
Yeah, once you stop, you can't. Once you pop, you can't stop. That's what they say.
Chocolate biscuits the other day, 8.
Did you? And could you
just smashed them?
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. So George bought in a pack of them, and he was like, "Try these. These are good ones from Waitrose." He'd been to get
I love how
a few
you two
bits for
shopping at Waitrose.
Well,
George is doing well, kids.
No, he does like his big shop, and then he needs like certain ingredients. The main thing is pea shoots. I remember it.
Pea shoots.
He's like, I can get them from Waitrose, Jordan. Like,
and that's where he knows to
pea
get
shoots.
Yeah,
and he gets like a few bits.
And I love the fact that you go for quality. This is the same thing. It's interesting how he goes for quality from Waitrose on some things because he knows he gets it.
Yeah.
And like we've said this before about getting cheap. There was something. What was it the other week? Someone said about they paid cheap.
My granddad used to say, buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah. And we all love a bargain.
Yeah.
Can you knock me down?
It's consumerism.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It is. It's hilarious, right? I get it because I like a bargain myself.
Yeah.
What I've learned is though,
it gives you dopamine hit, doesn't it?
You're like,
dopamine
hit.
Oh, bargain! I got this for £5.
Some people don't even want it.
Yeah,
just because it's discounted.
That's cheap. Best get that now.
So true. But the more I've invested in myself and the business, the better the outcome. And I can only really say this now because I'm doing those things.
Yeah.
But this, like I've said to you before about hiring people, hiring this, changing software, paying more for stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got a client that's just joined us and they are doing the same. They're coming away from having no software. They've only been going 6 months.
Yeah.
But to all singing, dancing, this is going to help their business. But it's a big outlay.
Yeah.
And it's nerve-wracking, but I don't know. It's really...
Do you know what is funny though? I'm pretty sure there's been research done into like paying for services. And I know this happens in therapy because like we speak about it in like the business communities, but there's an idea when you're paying for services and someone's skills that if somebody is priced cheaper, you're not going to get as good a service. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So people will choose you sometimes because your fee is higher.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, oh, they charge more, so they're better. And
they've got it. They know. They must know their stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. So there's that as well, isn't there? And I suppose as well, like there's something about the confidence of a person that is happy to charge a higher fee as well, like knowing their value, knowing their worth, and
I love that.
There's part of that, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been asked to discount, and at the beginning of the business, I used to.
Do people ask you to discount?
They do. They have, and it's an interesting one. And I always say this now: if I was going to discount, why would I not do it at the beginning?
I'd just never ask that. Do you know what I mean?
I just say, which service don't you want?
Yeah.
What? I don't like that. I discounted once.
I don't get as well, like mates rates.
I can't stand mates rates.
Right? Why would you ask your friends to cheapen their service fee? Like,
yeah, and then don't pay them anyway. Some get that.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, I will like seek business from friends or people I know because I trust them.
Yeah.
And I never ask for discount. Like, we've got a neighbour a couple of doors down who does like a lot of our house stuff, and I always say to him like, don't charge us less. I'm choosing you because I trust you and I know that your work's good. Like, it's perfectionist. Like, I don't expect you to charge me any less. Like, I want to be a normal paying customer.
Yeah, I love
so that you also prioritise us and our work. Like, I don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like
100%. Mates rates, don't do it. That's my advice and your advice for today.
Yeah, just don't bother.
Let me think of it in experiences. So I quoted somebody, and they said we put a whole new system in at discounted rate, but because she didn't have the money up front, I promise you I'll do it as a monthly retainer. So the one-off fee was the system implementation, but we put it into the monthly.
Yeah.
And then she paid 2 months of it, and then we were short by loads, but then she was like, I don't want to, so we put it all in for her, and then she went somewhere else.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that was a lesson learned. You take the money up front, obviously. But you know what?
Was there no contract or anything? Or?
We did, she obviously signed a letter of agreement, but you know it's somebody that started threatening, I'll do this and I'll do that, and I can't believe... And you just start thinking about your own stress. So this is a good top tip, actually. It's not worth it. You know, if you're arguing with somebody... what I'm going to say is let them argue with you. Don't ever fight back in a way.
Mel Robbins, let them theory.
I need to read this let them.
Yeah.
Because I find that I do...
Yeah, let them.
Let them do what they need to do.
And let you, it is. The second part, let you make the decisions that work for you, or let you have your opinion. And
not many can do it, though.
No, it's hard.
Like, I'll beat you in that argument. I will get that £5 back. Or whatever, do you know what I mean? Oh, take me to court, do this then, because I'll be there fighting you all the way. But no one does it with fun. Fighting all the way is not fun, so why would you put yourself through it and all your time and energy? Because there was something else where a client doesn't pay, and sometimes you put that much energy into trying to get that money. Yeah. And it's so unfair.
Yeah.
How unfair is that though when someone doesn't pay?
I know.
And it's not because they didn't like the service. I know it's not that.
Yeah, I've had it once.
Have you? What happened? Did
one
you get
time, no. It was for one session. And I was really I had a bit of a, strange feeling about it.
What was the red flag?
There are a few. It's hard to say, but like the way in which people get in contact and just in the session, like the way sometimes people carry themselves, like things aren't quite adding up. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, like he didn't pay for a session, and then it was coming up to the next week's session and he'd not paid for the one before. So I just said, like, the session tomorrow won't go ahead until like the balance of the first one is paid.
Yeah, good.
And now I have a rule where like the session doesn't go ahead unless it's paid beforehand generally. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I learned from that experience. So like I cancelled that session and then he never paid for the first session. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, well, I'm glad I didn't give you that second hour because
you may not have paid that either.
Yeah, you wouldn't have paid that.
Or you wouldn't have paid one of them, even if you paid the one before.
Yeah.
You'd be chasing him all the time.
For a while, like I was prompting, and obviously Xero had like the reminder on and stuff.
Xero is your accounting solution that we would highly recommend.
Love it. And he like kept coming back with like excuses. Oh, I'm gonna pay it next week. I'll pay it then. And then it was just like full on ghosting. Do you know what I mean? But like got quite like passive aggressive and like started to put on me like, why are you chasing me for this payment? I've got too much going on to think about this. As if, and I'm a bit like, maybe so, but like it's part of the therapy agreement and it's agreement for any service that like you pay for it. Like I'm not the bad person for enforcing, payment for a service you've received. Like, and yeah, therapists get funny about it because obviously it's therapy and people are struggling and stuff. But like you don't go into the hairdressers and walk out without paying.
No, I know.
Like it doesn't happen.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why should it happen in other service-based businesses? Like
there's some hairdressers that work for themselves and they've admitted or said that people do go and say, I'll pay you later, and they don't. And you have to chase it. They will always pay, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so awkward, isn't it? Especially when it's moving to a cashless society.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you do a bank transfer? Do you have a card machine? Which they do have a card machine. Yeah, it's thinking about ways to get your money quicker.
Yeah.
And red flags. You know what? You have to trust your gut. I listened to something not so long ago and I can't remember who, what, but it was about friendships. Probably the same in relationships. But it said, you will get that gut feeling of like feeling uncomfortable around somebody.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's intuition, isn't it?
What is that? I always blame myself.
It's just intuition, I think. Like, it's energy. Like, people
People
have
want
energy.
Yeah.
And we respond to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you feel the warmth of a person or not, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, but because of the way we live nowadays, we tend to just like ignore things, or we stay in situations when we're uncomfortable, i.e., I don't know, I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and it really common thing that can happen for people that's like a nightmare, but like, when a boss like touches you, like, she said like someone had it wasn't a boss, but this was somebody else, had put his arm around her in a way that she was really uncomfortable with. Like, don't, you've invaded my personal space, don't touch me.
Yeah.
And like people were like, oh, that's so funny, isn't it? Isn't he weird? And it's like, it's not funny. Like, that's not funny. Like,
so,
do you know what I mean? So
it's boundaries as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's also how so many people will laugh that off and just be like, oh, and like, rather than go, can you please not touch me? Like, especially women.
Yeah, true.
Because we're very much conditioned to be like... I
probably would have left it off.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. Do you know what I mean? Because particularly as women, like, I'm not going to burst into feminism and stuff, but we're very, very conditioned from an early age to be polite, be kind, don't upset anyone, be nice. Yeah. Like, they're, very traditional things that are conditioned into girls and women. So as adults, that can transfer into... not being assertive, even when somebody is doing something that you're uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
And this is something that I speak to George about a lot, about our daughter. and how like she won't be forced to give anyone a hug or a kiss if she doesn't want to, like family members.
We were forced.
I was forced as well. It's the thing, isn't it? And how weird is it?
It's so weird
How
now.
weird is it actually?
So weird.
So anyway, you know, just talking about like as women, why, and you know, some men as well, I'm sure, in terms of how they might have been, you know, raised, conditioned, things like that, values. But like, it's not on, is it?
No.
But we'll not say anything, like, particularly if it's within a business, your employee or something like that, and you think it might impact how you're treated, because often it will as well, and you'll be labelled.
Yeah.
And again, I keep saying especially women, but women that are assertive and confident are often labelled arrogant, too much, loud, bossy. But actually, they're the things we should be instilling in women and girls, because it's important. It's really important that we can speak up for ourselves, like as it is for anybody.
It's so interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
Because I put myself down a lot because of being strong-voiced. I don't know. I got called bossy.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Why are you so loud? And I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I'd be embarrassed that I am too loud because I get overexcited about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because those are the sort of things, if you're around the wrong people, they'll put you off progressing in your business.
Absolutely.
And in your life, I suppose. But
oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
What about, right, listen to this, the people that go, got new trainers? Yeah, I have. And then nothing. Do you not have that? Have you had that before? Had your hair done? I'm like, yeah, I have. And then I'm like, am I thanking them? But they've not said anything.
Not for a very, very
but we've had it,
time.
Haven't we? We've had it.
I'd have had it like back in the day.
Yeah, and it was a funny reel about it where someone's pointing out something. Is that a new dress? And they go, oh yeah, but they don't say why they pointed it out as such.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable, isn't it?
People are I find people weird at times, but I shouldn't even say that because I'm weird. But we're all weird and wonderful. Yeah. And it's what you want to be around, put up with. But I would always say what's better for me is changing those stale friendships.
And that's what I was about to say. The reason it hasn't happened for a very long time is because...
Yes.
I don't surround myself with people that are going to do that. And I don't know, like, I'm not sure I'd notice nowadays because I don't attribute value to like comments like that, really. No. In work, I'm more perceptive to criticism. Not necessarily even from... It's usually when I'm doing, like, contracted work to insurance and stuff like that. And, like... It's the way the system's set up to press you into doing things in less sessions, and the more sessions you have, the more they keep an eye on going,
she's not banishing that quick.
Yeah, it's been going on a long time. Like, there's complexity. This person's been through quite a lot. We're humans. We don't fit into little boxes that you can just square off in X amount of days all the time. So...
I can imagine me. I want to be fixed and weak, and that's all I'm giving you because that's that right. But no, it's true, isn't it?
Some clients come in like that, but it's insurance companies and third party agencies that manage referrals that put the pressure on, and it's a really bad system because it kind of like is designed to make you feel like you're doing something wrong, and also clients feel like they're failing at therapy, and it's so like counterproductive. I've experienced that this last 2 weeks, and I'm in a meeting on Monday that I started to get a bit nervous about, and then I was like, no, like I know why I'm doing this.
This coming Monday.
Yeah. I was like, I know why I'm doing this. I'm sticking to my values, which are like my clients come first. I'd have thought, like, because when I was in the NHS, you'd like almost like convince people that it was a good idea for them to only have 8 sessions and then have a break. And in some cases that's fine, but in many cases nowadays it's not. No. Do you know what I mean? But like that's the system you worked in, so you always had to sell that to people, even though you didn't believe in it. That's what I hated. And so I thought, I'm not doing that now. I work for myself.
I love how you work for yourself and just do your own way.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, then I won't take work from you, and that's fine. Like, I'm not bothered. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before I'd been like, I need to make sure I keep them happy because I'll still want referrals from them. And...
Do you know what's interesting? Not everyone's made for self-employment though.
No,
In
absolutely
fact,
not.
I think it takes a very special individual, talking about myself here a lot, to be able, and this is me being genuinely honest, you have to be a very special person to be able to manage a strong-willed man, woman.
Yeah.
Stick to what you think's right.
Yeah.
Adapt though if you get something wrong.
Yeah.
Be open to getting things wrong.
Yeah.
What else can we add? There's loads.
Yeah, you need a lot of different attributes and qualities.
You're not a follower. You don't just follow because they're doing it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of therapists, like, I knew a couple of therapists I worked with that went into private practice and didn't last 6 months. Like, they came straight back out and went into the NHS or another organisation. I couldn't understand it. Back then I thought, why would you do that? That's wild. But then I realised that not everyone can or wants to be everything in their business. Like, when you're in the NHS, for example, you turn up and you're a therapist, you can just do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. I didn't like the framework, but you're not getting the referrals in, you're not doing the marketing, you're not sorting the IT systems, you're not sorting anything to do with like finance or tender.
Yeah.
None of that's your job. Whereas you step into private practice, you're absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And you're your own motivation as well, aren't you? Like, you're accountable to yourself.
Motivation. I'm learning so much about motivation, not saying loads about it, but motivation, dopamine and discipline. Dopamine gives you that motivation, but to get the dopamine, people are looking at things, aren't they? Am I getting that right? Dopamine gives you the motivation, that hit, where you like get all over excited.
Yeah.
Oh, I can smash loads of things out now. Right, come on, let's go.
Yeah, dopamine gives you that buzz, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It
but you need to look for discipline, which is the boring.
Yeah, it needs to be good quality dopamine that's like sustainable.
Yeah, not taking drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
and drinking alcohol and having a right good night, because that's
and just
not
being
going to help.
impulsive all the time and just doing the good stuff.
Yeah.
I know you have to be really careful over it, don't you?
Yeah.
And quite like calculated in your actions.
Yeah.
And again, I think if you go back to your values, that helps drive your decision making. If you're like, right, okay, is this taking me like closer or further away from my goals and where I want to be?
Yeah.
Like, it's not always that easy. And obviously you don't expect perfection, but people tend to work by like the 80-20 rule, don't they? And lots of things in life. And I think that's a pretty good marker for consistency. Like, consistency isn't 100% all of the time.
Oh my God, I'm the
it's
same.
Back and forth, isn't it? But most of the time, doing what, your routine demands of you, or
I know,
working towards your goal.
And another thing, listening, whether you're an employee, progressing in your career, business owner, you've got to be prepared to not be liked. If you've been brought into a new company, let's say, and you shake things up, hats off to you. But also, it's a shame that team members aren't led by the leadership to explain why they're bringing in this person to manage. And that's the issue here. It's like how you deal with the employees to be receptive and work with the new person coming in, rather than, look at them coming in here, changing what we were doing.
Yeah.
And I can imagine how hard, because I hear like little stories all the time. I've got a friend in employment, loads of friends in employment still. You can't win. Whichever you do, it's going to be, choose your hard. It's going to be hard, whatever you do, isn't it? But I find leadership, like learning about leadership and people skills, fascinating. I think if you can nail those two, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting. Right, I'm going to say something.
Oh.
No, I can't give anything away, but I did something that scared the absolute, just something really scary that if it happens, and it probably won't, but I did it anyway, and I might tell you behind the scenes, but I don't know if I shouldn't really. It's going to either change my life, or I'm just going to carry on and go back to doing what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm showing a snippet of that is I shared a post about doing things that scare you more.
Yeah.
Because it feels so uncomfortable, it's almost unbearable.
Yeah.
And it's awful. And I want to just stress the fact that we all feel like it. I don't do anything with confidence.
Yeah.
Full confidence, anyway. So, I did that. And Steve supported with it. And I don't know, I just think I've applied for speaking events as well.
Yeah.
And my stomach's in bits that if I think about it too much, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Especially with how vulnerable when I do a speaking thing, I do share a lot of like truths and get vulnerable.
Yeah.
Are you because you're doing this retreat, and I just
yeah.
Are you putting yourself under this like amount of stress that I feel like I'm under?
Not yet. Like I said, I suppose like the first one's May. I've been doing a lot of techie stuff this week.
I hate techie stuff. But
I'm finally getting the hang of it. I do enjoy it when I know what I'm doing. I get frustrated. Things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm learning a lot, which I'm enjoying, like that aspect of things, so that we can actually launch the tickets and advertise things a bit more.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot to set up, and it's like the copy and the words, like trying to find the words that really articulate the message that you're trying to portray. Like that can be a challenge, can't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't feel really scared or stressed yet. But I think the closer it gets, the more we talk about like the content of the day, the activities that both of us are going to run and take responsibility for. That might, test me a little bit more.
So how do you know Leslie?
From therapist meeting that she runs in town. So.
Oh right, but you're very different, aren't you?
Yeah, really. Yeah, really different in many ways. Yeah.
So what's your skill set to Leslie? What are you bringing each? What's the difference? Is there any like you doing more techie than she's doing more?
Well, in this partnership, like I'm doing a lot of the tech side stuff. She's obviously contributed to like the words and stuff like that. She's helped source like the venue because she's run a day retreat before. Like she brings in knowledge and experience of having done the day, the structure, the things that went well for her, the things that didn't, stuff like that. And obviously we're both like, she's a really, really experienced therapist and I'm an experienced therapist.
You know I've seen her before, don't you?
Yeah.
For my eating disorder.
You told me. Yeah.
So basically Leslie, which I can't believe how it's come back around that she's in my life in a way through you. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Like you think you see a therapist and you're never going to see them again.
Yeah.
Because this is going back to 2012.
Yeah.
So how many years ago is
that?
15 years ago. What the hell? And I'd see her.
Yeah.
Now I think about it, it was opposite the college, Newark College, so I was studying at the time. And she's I liked her, obviously.
Yeah.
So I kept going back. And I got it through Freed, which is an eating disorder specialist.
Yeah.
She was very stern.
Yeah.
So sometimes she'll say stuff and I'd be like, oh, God, I say that to my kids.
Yeah. I know a couple of people that have seen her and they've said similar.
Yeah.
She's like, she's warm.
Yes.
And empathetic. But she's just a bit more firm, a bit more direct sometimes about things.
So and it made me like, oh, okay. But not obviously this is really good because I kept going back
Someone
as well.
else I know that saw her said the same thing, but said like she felt like she wouldn't have necessarily known it at the time, but she probably needed that challenge. And she was saying that like obviously when you've got an eating disorder, the inclination can be to want to sort of like lie about the things you've been doing and eating and stuff like that. But that she kind of wouldn't let you hide in that and would, ask you direct. And one of my friends said like she was really angry that she'd asked her outright, well, what have you eaten today then?
That's interesting.
Like, but obviously that was more about her and wanting to hide that.
Rather than because she was put on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it took ages to get better. Well, it didn't. I remember seeing her and I think for the first year, it took a year just for me to admit that I had an eating problem.
Well, absolutely. So then just taking that and applying it to what I was talking about a few minutes ago when insurance companies are saying, how come you're not done in 10 to 12 weeks? When you're working with ingrained complex issues like eating disorders and many other things, trauma, stuff like that. Like, come on.
Give it a chance.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on.
It does take time. And I remember saying to Leslie, I'm never going to get better. It was such a sad time when I think about it. And it's probably didn't want to or know how to.
Yeah. It's safety and comfort, isn't it, when we cling on to control.
Yeah. It was control. Yeah. I was under stress, obviously studying and this, that, the other. And I bumped into her 2019 when I started the business at a networking event. And I thought, oh my God, this is like a sign. And I don't know what made me do this, but some people decided to stand up and discuss something that they've been through in their life or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Or use the service in the room. It might have been that.
Right.
So what I then thought, you know what, I'm going to stand up and say about Leslie.
Yeah.
Because she helped me back 5-6 years ago back then.
Yeah.
And so I did that out loud in front of probably 50 people. God, I was shaking like. And I think she was really grateful. She's very professional. She won't push boundaries. She won't message me privately and go, oh, how are you doing? And this, that, the other.
No, of course. Yeah.
Which I think is hard when you will have people message you out of hours because they say they're desperate for your advice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't do that.
It's in therapy you do have to hold certain boundaries, and that can look different for different therapists depending on the types of clients they're working with as well, and you know, things like that. But I've done it before where I've been a bit more available and then felt overwhelmed by it.
I remember you saying.
Yeah, and then have to, you know, learn from that, or, you know, just renegotiate the boundaries. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it can be like trial and error.
Yeah.
With those kind of things. Like some therapists, like they will not have any contact from you apart from your weekly session, unless you need to like cancel or rearrange your appointment. For me, I just say to people, like, feel free to, you know, email if anything comes up, and I'll always get back to you when I see it. Sometimes that won't be until just before our next session, but,
that's fine.
you know, mailbox is open if needed. And what I will say is clients often appreciate that and very rarely take that up. Do you know what I mean? Very rarely take it up. So you know, if I do get an email, I think it might be an update on like, oh, I've been prescribed some medication, and I think, oh, okay, we'll discuss that in the next session then. Or
definitely. And it's interesting because I've never had, I don't think I've had therapy, because we were saying earlier, weren't we, that everybody should have some sort of therapy coach, guidance, mentor.
Yeah, like
I do believe
we could all benefit from it. Like, yeah, and this is the thing, I think when people seek therapy, they wait until they get so bad that they're like, I need to see someone. Whereas actually, if you're struggling or you're going through something and you think, just don't really feel myself, like a bit meh. Like that's the best time to go and see a therapist before things spiral.
And it's such an investment. Like people are like, how much? Oh no. And it's like, but where's your money going then? It's like, what? There's ways you can cut back in other areas if you've really looked hard enough. And we've spoke about this in one of our money management podcasts. About you can save more than you realise. It's just about nipping it back a bit here and there. So like, I just thought when you said about Leslie, you working with her, I was a bit like, oh my God. But she works on her own, doesn't she, still? Works herself.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's her specialism?
She does a lot of supervision of other therapists and their clinical practice, and we both really love EMDR, which is why we've partnered on this. It's an EMDR intensive like therapy day, so we both love that type of therapy.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's so good.
So more details to follow.
More details. We'll update you. So we've officially took on somebody new.
Oh, exciting!
So we've got a start date in March. So exciting! She's just a perfect fit.
Yeah,
and you know where sometimes you can just rush and hire.
Yeah.
And it's the wrong people when you do it like that. And I just think you've got to get the culture right. You want the people that's got the can do, that can easily, like, I don't know, grow with you, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
And not put halts in the way.
Again, it's about the energy, isn't it? The energy in the office. I've said this before. Like, you want someone that's like, morning, are you all right? Like, what you been up to?
Yeah.
Or and that will come to you and go, I'm really struggling with this.
Yes.
Like, can you just help? Or not really enjoying that bit, but I really like this. I don't mind doing it. Rather than people that are like, hi.
Got the world on the shoulders.
Yeah, which again,
it's
not to be horrible, but it's about like how you approach things, and like, if you've got a problem, like, you know, address it. And work through it. If you're not happy in your job, do something about it. Like,
so true, isn't it? And it's the same with you as a person. I'd always want to take control of a situation that you know you're not doing well in. Rather than waiting for someone to say, oh, I see you've missed that deadline.
Yes.
Grab it before it gets that. Or a lot of people don't think ahead, and that's what I want the whole of the team to do.
Yeah.
With our tech and everything that we're bringing in, is think more ahead, be brave.
Yeah.
Just, get the support you need, ask for the support as well.
Yeah.
And that's what I want everyone to be okay with, being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And not Mrs. Know-it-alls. Because we're not really, even though I am a know-it-all.
You're not really though, like, do you know what I mean?
I am when it comes to Steve. Like, you should be doing this. You should. He says, He says to me, I don't like it when you tell me I should be doing it. I'm like, how else do I word it then? I said, how else do I word it then?
Have you thought about, it might be helpful to...
Yeah, potentially then.
This works for me. Maybe it might work for you.
Because he doesn't like being told by...
I hate should and must.
Well, you've just made me realise then. Maybe it is my wording.
Should is like, who says?
Yeah, I know, but I don't even realise.
It's really commonly used phrase.
It is.
It's just
say, what do you mean should? And then I'll go, I've done it again.
Yeah.
It's that bit that I don't get why people don't help that other person. He just sits here and goes, rather than just go, I've caught you.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, right, okay, because I am trying.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Like, I said this to, I can't remember if I said it to the team members. I will fluff up my words. I will get stuff wrong.
Oh, yeah. We all do.
So I've been more bolshy in the office, not as in rude, as in saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that, June? And then she's responding back, and I think this is great. Yeah. Everyone can hear that we're having a bit of a debate on something. Yeah. I want that.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be, should we go in the other room and let's be secretive about that client because we don't want them to be worrying. No. Copy that person if we need to. We need to be open and honest.
Absolutely.
And it's took a long time for me to get to that place without feeling judged.
Yeah.
I don't want to be judged. I will mess up. And if I do, just pull me to one side and say, next time.
Yeah, I prefer if you approached it like this.
Yeah. And it took ages for Steve to say, even though he does follow my methods. He does in time, not straight away. But so if I'm saying, you should be doing that, Steve. I don't know if I do say that, but I say, and he's probably internally going, rather than going, do you mind not saying it should? And then I'll be like, I've done it again.
Yeah.
And coach me through it for a change.
Yeah.
But then not everyone's like that. It's just because I would do that to him.
Yeah.
If he says something I don't like, I'm like, hang on. But he just wants an easy life.
Yeah. In therapy, like, we're always challenged the shoulds and musts. Because people go, don't they? They're always like, I should be doing a bit more. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And it's like... And for me, the reason we don't like that, and it's usually like an internal thing, it's because it implies like an obligation. Yeah. And like some things you need to do and you have to do. But a lot of the time, again, it goes back to that people pleasing that we often challenge it in the context of like, I should go home for Christmas. I should see my dad, and it's like, okay.
Do you want to?
Yeah, do you want to? Is that relationship bringing value to your life? And it's really hard when people have got like a narcissistic parent or, very, very toxic and, borderline emotionally abusive.
Can I just say something? You know what my brain's doing? It's wanting to say this thing.
Go on.
But they say blood is thicker than water.
I hate that.
I hate that. You know what's thicker than blood and water?
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
And that's true.
It is true. Hate that saying. What's it? Family comes first.
No.
They're all like very traditional values, and that's fine if you've got a functional family
that feels warm.
Like, not everybody has that. Not everybody has those relationships. Not everybody has nurturing relationships with immediate family members. Like, again, don't put that shit on people.
It's
like, says who. Piss off does not apply to so many people.
I know if you feel like, I should go and see them, it's been a while, but you don't truly love them and there's not that warm vibe, I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you can get it normally, can't you? Like, bloody hell, like, I should make sure I go pop and see my mum, like, or
that's different.
And then you think, because you think, I've not seen him in a while, but you value that relationship.
Exactly.
It's a mutually respectful, like, loving, caring relationship.
Yeah.
Not, oh God.
Yeah.
I've got to go and see them now.
Yeah.
Christmas time in the therapy world. Just wreaks havoc, like, all the pressure and expectation that people feel.
Yeah, that's why I've stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And it's took guts, especially if other family members are doing it different to you. And I hear loads of stories from friends and clients as well. It's so interesting. Like, I have this kind of relationship and it doesn't feel good, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, they're this to do that to me. You don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's
on that
just
note,
renegotiating the boundaries and the expectations that people have of you.
Yeah.
If you've always done something, people begin to expect it. Yeah. And when you first put that boundary in place and go, oh, I'm not doing that anymore, people are like, what?
I know.
You always cook on Christmas. What?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do it this year. It's a bit too much pressure and, you know, I always feel quite overwhelmed. So if somebody else wants to do it, that'd be great. Otherwise, we can go out.
Yeah.
You know.
Or bring something.
Yeah, everyone bring a plate. Like, do you know what I mean? Just allowing yourself to renegotiate people's expectations. And they do shift, even if people are a bit unhappy initially.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
No, I love that. There was something I was going to jump onto. Oh, yeah. So sponsorship, there is someone that I'm speaking to that's reached out to me, potential. Nice. Obviously, if you're listening and you're interested in sponsoring a podcast, and obviously I can do some video content for you, get in touch. Any questions on this podcast, let us know. And if you're listening on, you know, to us or please share it on Instagram, tag us in stories.
Let us know your thoughts.
We don't know who's listening until we get a message. You get stopped the other day. I get a few messages and I'm like, are you actually listening?
Yeah, and if you're going to post about something, like agree or disagree with us.
Yes,
like,
please.
Agree or challenge, and we can always pick up on it.
I don't like being told I'm rubbish.
Why is that your first thought?
They're going to challenge my thought process, and I'm like, I've worked damn hard to get this far.
You've gone all American again. Yeah. Fran's gone American.
And on that note, good day. That's Australian.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate.